We're here today to liberate Albert Park in the spirit of 1969 when they took it for Jumping Sundays.
What was Jumping Sundays?
Jumping Sundays, I believe the Auckland Council didn't allow people to perform concerts in a public park. So Tim Shadbolt, Sue Bradford and several thousand other people just started their march from Myers Park up to here and took it, and then every Sunday for quite a period of time, not sure exactly how long, they just threw concerts and partied. And
so you were pretty much replicating that, but also part of the Occupy movement globally as well.
We're not here to just throw gigs every Sunday. We're here to create an educational space. We're surrounded by the two major universities in Auckland, as well as a number of other tertiary institutions. So this isn't a student occupation as such, but we want the students involved, we want the universities involved, we want to be running educational workshops and things every day and getting active, you know.
It seems like you're in a good location for it.
Yeah, I mean this is great, and the sun's come out today. It's been crappy weather all week.
So I heard this is number 4 location
this
in
is
Auckland?
Number 4 for now, yep.
How are the other ones going, do you know?
Yeah, they're going pretty well. We're getting a lot of attention down on Queen Street, given the proximity to Aotea Square and the Town Hall, and just the fact it's on Queen Street. Victoria Park seems to be a pretty good vibe down there, and Aotea Square is still going strong. We've got about 15 tents there at the moment. We've got the food bill coming up, which is a major issue. We need to be able to grow our own food and feed each other and look after each other, and there's plenty of ways we can be getting energy that's much more sustainable. There's so many things that we can be doing more sustainably. So yeah, definitely I think sustainable communities is something that people are going to be looking into.
Any reactions from the Auckland City Council towards these extra locations that have been occupied?
Well, we got a lovely letter from their lawyer that was received I think about 2 days ago, after them having read on our Facebook page about Albert Park. And, yeah, they weren't too happy, but fuck them really. Yeah. They've been a pain in the butt. They're there to protect it. Well, no, the police are there to protect and serve. The council's there to serve the people and look after us, and they're not doing that. They're currently drawing up plans to sack the 330 port workers that are on strike. Right. So they can privatise the ports, and the council's becoming a corporate entity, and it's just wrong.
Rangi nui rawa ko papatō nuku me o tautau tamariki hoki. Tēnā koe, Wiri. Well, at the moment I'm based at the Pū of Te Wheke, which is the head of the octopus, and Albert Street is one of the tentacles of Te Wheke. And so, as I've mentioned to the rest of the Occupy group, I am here to represent Te Ao Wairua. So I'm here on behalf of the Spirit and to try and bring the Aroha, Te Ao Marama into the Rōpū, as well as into the rest of our brothers and sisters worldwide, even the 1%. At Aotea Square, I've been blowing the pūtātara, doing the on vibration into the whenua and into all the buildings, into all our whānau, worldwide, especially in the concrete jungle. But of course my vision is, I'm sure it's the same vision as everyone else's, is to see the whole world occupied, so that little or big places like our parks and reserves can have our whānau on it without worrying about mortgages and rents and stresses of the bank loans and all that, and they can just bring their tent and come and live. That's my whole intention, because at the end of the day they're going to cut the bankers and that out with all their no longer worrying about their mortgages, and they're going to be coming here and living. This is the way that our tūpuna live. And under the law of tikanga, which Sean Elias says is the common law of this land, our customary values and practices will just continue on, because this is how our tūpuna live. We travelled, we nohoed, we carried on, travelling all around, and so this is my whole vision that I see for Occupy, is to occupy as one, whakakotahi tātou. I actually started occupying, Wairua told me to go and noho and occupy on, go and join over there at Aotea Centre on January the 1st, 2012. So as you hear all the children in the background screaming, it's all full of excitement, 2012. And I see the Occupy movement as part of bringing back around the new world. And I notice, after being in here only for a short time, I notice that the only, if you might say, obstacles or challenges are actually in-house. They're in-house challenges that are happening with different personalities, which is common and to be expected. And this is where the light, or the rangimarie, te ao marama, this is where our wairua, we need to start now thinking from the heart. And so, as I say in all the GA meetings, it's really time to us to try and think and talk from the heart, because 2012 is about us moving from the heart space. And I know that this is how our new world will become the new world, is by being able to move from the heart, being able to live in these places. I mean, it doesn't have to be the whole of the park or reserve. It can only be 1/8 of it. Where people who have had struggles, there will be no homeless. I have seen so much food since I've been lived in the city. So much food has gone to waste, and there's plenty to feed every single homeless. People who are finding food, buying a food so hard. I've seen big hams just being biffed out. Well, it's interesting because I've noticed that since I've started changing the signs, because the time of fighting really is past. It's time now to just vision and to focus on the success. And so that's why the signs that have been put up, that Wairu has said to put up signs like occupy with aroha. Occupy your heart.
Start co-creating.
Occupy as one. Our thoughts create things. Be responsible. All the power's in our hands. Be responsible. We can create this new world. So be it.
Right. Do you see the Occupy movement worldwide as an immune system to the superorganism known as humanity, and it's naturally self-correcting itself?
I see it as a definite evolvement. Absolutely. I see it as a positive evolvement, and like everything else, just the adjusting of the human nature into the spiritual nature, which I think a lot of us are catching on now, that we're just human beings having a human experience, but we're really spiritual beings having a human experience. So this is all part of the octopus spreading out, and I intend to see this happening all over Aotearoa. All over Aotearoa. There won't be any stress with families. We'll be organising our own little communities. We have our own little security, even around where we are. We have wonderful security amongst ourselves, the brothers that are there. Some don't have any benefit or any kind of wage, so they'll do security. Some will just mahi with their hands if they have no money to help pay for food. Others, last night we had a couple of the restaurants nearby. We got big donuts and wonderful things called hard to us, fried rice, tacos, and these are the businesses around us. People are coming, taking photographs of the messages now, the positive messages. We've got people coming from the corporate system, even offices of the, some coming from Inland Revenue, some coming from the council, offering us ways they can help us, ways they can, donate or bring food. So to me, this is turning the human heart. Now it's bringing our hearts out to help us realise that we really are all one, and this is the natural way we always lived in communities, not just one person in one square box. Also, we intend on taking a peace group up to Waitangi, a hikoi up to Waitangi, also as part of the Occupy, and also from Waitangi we intend on also going throughout the world.
Hi, I'm Linda, and I'm here at the Inception of Occupy Albert Park. I'm very fond of Albert Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. You can't see it, but there's a lot of people here. It's a gorgeous day. I, along with about 30 other people, we met here in this very spot to plan the first occupation of his square. And in fact, I stood just a couple of meters over there, and I asked the question of the group assembled here, where should we occupy first? And virtually the unanimous decision was Aotea Square, and that was because of its historic and political significance. But a lot of us had a fondness for Albert Park, and we figured eventually we would come to Albert Park. Albert Park not only is a beautiful place, but right across the road are our natural allies, the university students. In us all, there are these natural responses to stresses where we feel encroached upon by the system in which we live. And the natural responses involve spontaneously forming communities. What we have here really is a community. And as soon as humans form communities, there is a political element to all of it, because of course we have to order ourselves and decide how we shall make decisions about what is the good and what we should do about people who are not conforming to the ethos of the group, or the kaupapa, as they say in New Zealand, and all these sorts of things. This all occurs spontaneously. There's no course, nobody did a course in how to do this. I always maintained that the purpose of the occupation movement was at the beginning of what you could call a revolutionary developmental arc. Your first job is to make people aware and to wake them up.
I first joined the movement 2 days after it started. When I saw the march reported on the internet, I thought, oh, I have to be part of that. Mainly because our world needs changing, and this is the best way I've seen of changing it in my lifetime. The thing is that not everybody's the same. You put a group of people together, and the bigger the group is, the more likely it is that they're not going to be able to live together.
Yeah.
Much nicer if you give everybody a place where they can be and a group of people that they can be with. So having various occupiers gives people a choice on ways that they can occupy. It's very good. I keep saying that the council spends thousands of dollars trying to develop a sense of community in a city, and they do street naps and they do lighting and they do all sorts of things. What we've done in an instant is to create a sense of community. We've pulled people from all sorts of places together, and we care about each other, and we miss each other. If we stay away for a couple of days, it's like, well, I miss my family, you know. This is whānau. They're our people.
I see that a lot of police are now tuning, a lot of people in courts are now supporting the movement, so to me actually it seems like we are the 100%. It's just a matter of time before their realisation is actually made.
Yes.
But having said that, coming up into the near future, do you foresee lots more people participating and joining the Occupy movements when jobs have been lost and more regulations have been brought out, like the food bill, which restricts people from growing their own food and that?
Yes, I think the thing about New Zealand is that we're actually quite lucky in New Zealand, in that, you know, I mean, we haven't got our police trying to break our heads, and we don't have FEMA camps all over the place. We're lucky, but our situation's changing rapidly. The difference between the very rich and the very poor in New Zealand, the gap's widening very quickly, and I think that the more that gap widens, the more job losses there are, the more the food bill takes away our rights, the more the government takes away our rights, the more people are going to wake up and realise that we need to change this world. That if we all stick together, we do have power to stop people making decisions that we don't want. If we don't stick together, if we're divided, we can't change it.
Divide and conquer, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, do you see that the Mayans said that 2012 is possibly the end of the world, but maybe not, maybe the end of the way we're living? Do you think that synchronicity is living up to what they said?
I feel it. I feel this year is the beginning of a real change. I mean, one of the expressions the Occupy Wall Street movement uses is the beginning of the beginning. I believe we've begun the beginning now, you know. I believe that this year is going to mark changes in the way we live, the way we think. I do believe that the connectedness that we're developing around the world is going to make changes. It's not the end of the world, it's the end of the world as we know it. Yeah.
My name's Red Star Terra Nines. I'm the media coordinator for Occupy Auckland New Zealand, OWNS for short. I've been involved in the Occupy movement in Auckland since about 2 weeks before we occupied October 15. So I marched from Britomart up to Aotea Square and was present at our first GA when it was a glorious day, 3,000 comrades there. I was there when we set up. I was there when we built our little place in the sun in Aotea. I was there when we fed the people. I was there when we built our media centre. I was there when we disseminated information around the world. I was there right through 70 days of happiness for me. I stayed there a total of 65 days. Well, I come from a film and TV background. I freelanced in film and TV in the mainstream media for about 3 years. I worked from basically the lowest of the low, location PA and unit, right up to first AD, and I've got a couple of professional directing credits under my belt too. So I studied it and I've worked it. So I've always been really interested in media since I was a very little boy, and it's just natural progression really. Reason why I got involved into the media career at Occupy Auckland is because I see a massive failing by the mainstream media. I see how it's corporatised, I see how it's based for profit, I see how the truth is skewed and not even delivered. I see how corporate entities control our information, essentially control our minds, and I wanted to be on the front line of the truth. My dissatisfaction with the New Zealand justice system goes way back. I think it's built for the rich and is definitely not built for the poor. The poor get slammed, they get exploited, they get lumped with huge fines, ridiculous prison sentences for ridiculous things. There needs to be more accountability to corporate criminals because they're amongst us and they destroy our lives on the daily. Well, we started with 1, now we're up to 4, and there's only going to be more. We occupy, we never die, we multiply. And I urge all of our brothers and sisters, I urge you to go out, occupy your neighbourhood, occupy your schools, occupy your universities, occupy your business, occupy your streets and take it back. Because this is there's lots of misinformation about the 99%, but the fact is that we all are, everyone. We're all here together. And sooner or later, people are just going to have to wake up because it's only going to get worse. Personally, I think that the food bill is the most important thing we have faced in New Zealand since the anti-nuclear fight. I think it's a direct breach on our sovereignty as New Zealanders, as humans. We are in a beautiful land here. We can grow our own food, and we should. We definitely don't need to succumb to poisonous food from corporate interests. We need to take ownership of this. We need to plant our own food. We need to share it. We need to do it. I find it ridiculous that we could be labelled as terrorists for feeding our families, and that's pretty much it. So go out and do it. It's a real direct way for you to be active for yourself, for your family. My Twitter is redstar309z. Occupy Auckland is www.occupyauckland.org. Facebook is www.facebook.com/occupyauck. I urge you, please, to go to our website, which is www.occupyauckland.org, and donate. We need your help. If you can't be here on the ground, if you can donate us $3, $5, $100, $2,000, it'll be much welcome. We do have some more occupiers starting, so watch this space.